Your desires will manifest when you do this one thing. And I mean it. When you do this one thing, I can guarantee that you will start to see so much movement in the 3D. This is not clickbait. This is real spiel. Okay? So I am Beyond Taylor, and I am here to help you go beyond all your self imposed limitations. So, what is this one thing that I'm talking about? It's not a technique. It's not like visualization, scripting, robotic affirming, the mirror method. It's nothing like that. But it actually combines all of these things. I know you're like, what are you talking about? What's going on here? What's going on? I will tell you, okay? One moment. I would first like to start off though with this scripture. Matthew 18:3. Unless you change and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. So what is it about children that gives them like instant access to heaven? And really, I think it has a lot to do with their humility, their ability to forgive, their open mindedness, their obedience, their willingness to trust and love. Because kids, they are so and their receptivity. And I think that children, when they first come into this world, they know the truth. They're very aligned with the fact that I and my Father are one, as Jesus would say, right? They're very aligned with the fact that they like that I am is their nature. It's not until society beats into them that they are a separate individual with all these limitations and beliefs and blockages that they forget, that we all forget. But we first come into this world knowing. So that's why Jesus is saying that we have to become like kids again to enter the kingdom of heaven. And where's the kingdom of heaven, right? It's not going to be like, lo, the kingdom of heaven is over there or over there, for the kingdom of heaven is within. So kids already have access to the kingdom of heaven because they're humble. They don't they're not pretending like they know the answers. Like some humans, they become so hardened. Like you may have become so hardened in your beliefs that you aren't willing to hear anything else, even if that's going to take you to the next level, right? It's important to humble thyself so that you can allow yourself to be in a receiving end, open minded, forgiving, right? I would say kids are extremely forgiving. I would say like holding resentment and not being able to let things go. That's a learned trait. When we come into this world, like even like animals, if you do something to an animal, they will forgive you unless they've been around humans long enough to learn about resentment and holding grudges. That's not something that's inherent in our nature. We live in the now, now, now. So we don't hold on like to hold on to the past is something that a limited being does because they're too identified with their thoughts, and the past only exists in our thoughts. So animals, because they don't think in past and future, they're just really present in the now. They don't hold on to grudges. They let things go because it's always just a now moment, and the past didn't even happen. Whereas humans, we're constantly thinking about the past, constantly recreating it, that we don't let things go, we don't forgive. And that not forgiving is creating separation, because if I don't forgive you, that means that you're separate from me and that you intentionally did something to hurt me. And that's just making that idea that we're separate so much stronger. Whereas when we're just living in the now, 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 the past and the future is like only useful for like anything that we're gonna do. It's a tool. It's not the truth. So children don't operate like that. I say all that to say I went on that long spiel to say children don't operate like that. So we have to become like kids again. And I think the main thing when becoming like children again is our ability to trust and to have this huge imagination, because kids are so trusting, and God or the universe or whatever you choose to call it, your higher self is just asking you to trust. It's asking you to put down all your defenses, all your logical reasoning, put all that down, all your critical analytical thinking, all that, just put it down for a second, and to trust that when you accept something as yours, it's done, and trust that God is always delivering. What you whisper to me in secret, I will reveal to you in public. Something like that, okay? So just trust that it's done and that God is going to fulfill everything that you desire within reason. I always have to say within reason. But anyways, And then last but not least, imaginative. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, the idea of play. Kids are so playful and so imaginative, and they don't let anybody limit their imagination. I remember being a kid, and I would have my little bike, and I thought I had a whole family with me. And I would ride around. I had this pond by my house, and I would ride around the pond, and I would, oh my God, it was just amazing. It was so much fun. And that's how kids operate. And we are asking to go back to that, to go back to trusting our imagination to create reality, which is why Neville Goddard was so big as in imagination creates reality. So we must become like children again in order to receive our imagination. And I would go even a step further and say we must play more. We have to play. A lot of y'all taking things way too seriously. You taking reality way too serious, and you're not playing. It's time to introduce play, fun, lightheartedness into your experience so that you can stop being so rigid and boxed in and cornered that reality can't flow, can't bring you your manifestations in harmony. I'm doing all these fingers and stuff, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. In this video, we are going to be discussing how play raises your vibration, different ways to play when manifesting, and how playing equals detachment. And we all know detachment is the one of the quickest ways to get your manifestation. I will say play is definitely the quickest. So, part one, how play raises your vibration. So first, I want to start off with this story, just about the importance of play and not taking life so serious. So, in my household, we play a lot, and it's just a very light-hearted energy in here. We really try not to take things too seriously, and I would say that's been responsible for all the movement I've experienced within the last few months. My boyfriend moved in a few months ago, and it's in his whole energy and aura is one of like playful and youth. And it's no coincidence that everything started moving very quickly for me when that shift happened. And just this story. So the other day I came home. I went for a walk. Me and somebody of mine went for a walk. And when I came home, I noticed that my plant was like destroyed pretty much. It was like all bent out of shape and everything. And I went to him and I said, "What happened to my plant?" And he's like, "Oh, I accidentally kicked the plant stand and it fell." And I got so like, y'all, I'm not good at keeping plants alive. So this is the first plant that I've kept alive, and I've been taking care of it. And I was just so proud of it. And it's beautiful, beautiful plant. It's still beautiful, but it's broken now. And I was like, why didn't you tell? Like, why didn't you say anything? I didn't find out until I saw it. Like, why didn't you say anything? He's like, "Oh, I didn't realize it was that bad." And I started crying. I was so upset. I was so upset. So then I went in the room, and as I was sitting in the room, I was starting to get like irritated. But then I realized like I'm not even really that upset because nothing is that serious. What is that serious? It's really not that deep. But I'm like I have to put on this front of being upset so that he knows that I'm not okay with this. Right? I gotta put up this front. And then he came in the room and he's trying to talk to me, and I'm still like, no, don't talk to me. But like internally, I'm like, it's really not this serious, you know. And then even when I came out the room and I started talking to him, and I'm still trying to hold up this front of being mad, but I'm about to start busting up laughing. We both about to start busting up laughing because, and I want to share that story because, like, it doesn't matter how serious things appear to be, it's all play. Like nothing is ever that serious because we are just in the form of imagination. We are in the world of imagination. So what could we ever take that serious? And I feel like because I've set up my life to be one of play, it's very hard for me to really be upset. Like even when I was trying to be upset, I'm sitting there like, I'm really mad, you know, like because of the environment that we've set up for ourselves. And I really believe that me having this lighthearted approach to reality creation, and it's something that I also work with my clients to have this very lighthearted playing approach to reality creation, that's when shifts start to take place. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, definitely sign up for the link below and we can make things happen. Okay, because I'm really passionate about not only changing my life but also helping you guys change your lives as well, not by all the rigid and regular ways of understanding reality creation, but by recognizing yourself as the I am behind all of reality. That's recognize that you are just the awareness, and everything that comes and goes is just the illusion, just the appearance, just imagination, and it's not your true nature. So why would you take it so serious? And by not taking it so serious, everything manifests. I know that was really fast, and y'all get on me in the comments about speaking fast, but just putting that out there. So going back into how play raises your vibration. So yeah, when you take everything so serious, you become very dense in your energy, and when you're very dense, you like are very compacted and limited in and there's really no expansion. And I like to think about it like water. So when water vibrates really slowly, frequency, because I'm saying play raises your vibration, it raises your frequency. So when water vibrates really slowly, what is it? It's ice. And it's very compacted and it's very dense and it's very bound to one singular form as ice. I mean, ice can take on many forms, but at the end of the day, it's very dense. But as you raise the temperature, which is like raise your vibration, raise your frequency, what happens? It will turn to water. Now, water flows. It's so much more flowing. It's so much more free. It's so much more expansive. But let's take it one step further. You raise the temperature even more. You raise your frequency. You raise your vibration even more. What do? You turn into water vapor, which is like air. Now you are everything. Now you can expand into, you have no boundaries, no limitations, nothing that's holding you back. And that's what play is going to do for you. It's going to take you out of this dense energy where you take everything so serious, and you're going to vibrate so much higher because you're carefree, you worry less, right? These are all the things that happen when you start to raise your vibration through play. When you don't take everything so serious, when people do things to you, it's so much easier to forgive because you know that it's all imagination anyway. It really don't matter. The only thing that matters is who I really am, because I'm eternal. Everything that I see comes and goes, and it's very irrelevant, right? So this is going to shoot your conscious awareness up, and according to David Hawkins' consciousness scale, joy is high up there. And I would say joy is synonymous to play. Like, when are you ever playing and you don't feel immense joy, immense peace? Like, you just feel so good because you're having so much fun. So in that, it's so much easier to forgive. And a lot of, like I was saying, a lot of y'all cannot access what you truly desire because you cannot let that hurt go, which means you cannot let the past go. You're still holding on to something that happened in the past, and that's really hindering you. Also, when you play, it's going to raise your vibration because you're more creative, right? You're more creative, you worry less, and you're able to get into flow. And I know a lot of you are creatives, and you watch this because you're artists at heart. I mean, as long as you say I am, you're a creative, period. So there's so many projects that you're working on. You have these amazing ideas that you have yet to act on because you're in that dense energy, because you're so serious about life, and you're so serious about what happened to you in your past, and you're so serious about how you have to get there. Whereas when you start to play and you raise your vibration, you become so much more fluid and expand, and then you're able to tap into flow to get all the projects that you want to accomplish done, to allow those ideas to come to life in a very flow based way, in a very non-restrictive way. Okay, I wanted to share this quote. It's from Stephen Kotler, who is a flow state researcher. He says, in flow, the gap between what you can do and what you're doing closes, and you're at your absolute best. So that's what you seek. You seek to be in flow. You want to feel at your best. You want to close that gap of time where the idea comes into fruition. The idea manifests as this physical form. That's what you desire, which is why you're watching this video. And I'm telling you, the way to go about that is through play. You have to play more. You have to have fun more. If not, you're going to continue to just work so hard to get what you desire, and it could be so much simpler, so much easier, which is why things happen to children much, much quicker, because they don't have all the resistance that we hold that comes only from thinking. So when we release our attachment to thinking by remembering that we are just the awareness behind all of experience, and all thoughts come and go, and we never come and go, we're just aware of what comes and goes, then we can just be in the present moment. And if you like, oh, I don't really know how to not attach myself to what comes and goes, right? I feel very much like my thoughts. I feel very much like my body. I do have a self-inquiry guide down below. It's only $7, and it will help you to create that space between yourself as the observer, as awareness, and what you are aware of. People always say, how do I know that I am? Or, and I see them asking other creators too, like, how do I recognize that I am? It's so simple. It's just about holding the recognition that takes time. But it's so simple. Are you aware of this video? Were you aware 5 minutes ago? Were you aware a year ago? You're always aware, but what comes and goes is you're always aware of what comes and goes. It doesn't matter what comes and goes. So how can you be your body when it's always changing? How can you say that's who you are? You're not what changes. You're what's aware of the change. Now, how you hold this recognition is where the work comes in, and I have a self-inquiry guide for that down below. Okay. So yeah, this is your sign to initiate more play into your life. If you've been looking for the sign, this is it. If you just play for a week, you just stop taking things so seriously for 1 week, you will see incredible movement. Incredible movement in relation to bringing your desires or manifestations into form. Okay? And that's where taking inspired action also comes in. Oh my God, I could talk about this forever. Okay? But let's go to part two. So different ways to play. I know you guys love techniques. I'm not gonna lie, I love techniques too. I love techniques when they don't come from a place of trying to put me into the state of abundance, try to put me into the state of fulfillment or joy, or put me into the state that's aligned with my desire. When it's simply to express this state, that's the point of techniques. The techniques aren't to get you to your desire. The techniques are so you can have fun and persuade yourself that you already have your desire. It's just about convincing you that you already have it, not to change you, because you don't need to be changed, because you are already it. It's really to remove the blocks that's preventing you from seeing that you already have your desire, okay? So part two is about different ways to play. So let me introduce you to some techniques that I love, but there are so many more techniques, but these are techniques that I love. So one is the role playing. Now, if you were in my workshop 2 weeks ago, you know that we did work role playing. We did breakout rooms where I told you guys to imagine that you were 2 years into the future and that you had your desires now. And I told you guys to talk to each other as if that was the case. So let's say I want to be a yoga instructor. I want to be a yoga instructor with 2 dogs and have my own art studio. Let's just say that's the case, right? I would role play as if that was already true now. So I'll be like, yeah, I just came back from teaching the class. It was amazing. I'm about to go walk my dogs now. And then I think I have to go take Boxer to the vet. Let's say one of my dog's name was Boxer. Now, even though this isn't the case now, because I'm role playing and putting myself 2 years into the future, I'm going to talk to you as if that's true now. And that's what we had did in the breakout rooms. And that's what I got everybody to come together and to agree to and to do together. And as everybody was saying, it was extremely powerful and it was extremely profound because it puts you into that state of being now. And if you experience any resistance, then you can go into like energy somatic practices to release that resistance. My favorite form is EFT. So that's something we also did in the workshop. We did EFT in order to like see where that resistance was coming from, with the resistance with just accepting that I am who I think I am now. But then we have these thoughts that say, yeah, right, that's not true, or this feels very silly. So then we're going to do somatic practices to release that resistance, right? So that's one way that I like to play is role play. I do it with, again, my boyfriend, because we're just really silly in this household. So I will role play as if I'm already in my desired reality now. I don't care what the circumstances show. And that's how I want you to be. I don't care what the circumstances are showing me. Let me slow down my speech because I know y'all get me about that. But I don't care what the circumstances are showing me. I'm already in my desired reality in this moment. So I'm going to talk as if. I'm going to act as if. I'm going to think from the end. I'm going to think as if. I'm going to write out my calendar with what it's not in the external, but it's within my imagination. So I'm going to even write it on my calendar. Oh, I have to do this. I have to do this. People will say, you didn't do that yesterday. Oh, in my imagination, I did. Because this is where reality is created from, right? So that's and it's fun and it's playful. So that's what I want you guys to do, to role play. Also, what else can you do? And you can role play by scripting as well. So if you don't have anybody that you feel safe enough to role play with, just script in your journal. Write about your day as if that's true now, even if your circumstances are 100% denying it. Write as if it's true now, okay? Another one is imagination. Y'all know chef's kiss. Imagination is my thing. Y'all know I love imagination because imagination creates reality. So I go by imagination I mean visualization, right? Create a state that's akin to sleep and go into your imaginal act and give it the sense to give it all the sensations of reality, right? I want you to feel in your imagination, to see, to touch, to smell, to taste. Ignite all of those senses because your brain doesn't know the difference between what it's seeing here and what it's seeing in there, which is why you can think about something and have an anxiety attack because your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's within, because it's all the same thing, really. If you want to get technical, it's all the same thing. So when you go into your imaginal acts, give it all the sensations of reality, give it all the feelings of reality. And I find that creates so much movement, and it's fun. It's because it's a skill. Some people say, well, I can't imagine. I'm sure that if you don't speak Spanish or if you don't speak Mandarin, like you and you have a desire to do so, you're not just going to be like, well, I can't do it, I throw in a towel. It's a skill that you can develop. When you work on that skill every single day, when you practice it, you will get better. So don't just throw in a towel because you're like, I can't see it in my head, or I can't hear it, or I can't taste it. Keep showing up and developing the skill, and you will know how to do it. And that will impress your subconscious in such an amazing way that your subconscious will go out and make it happen. It will make it happen. It will bring the people that you need. It will bring the circumstances that you need. It will literally move a mountain. It will split reality in half at your behalf, because that's how the subconscious works for you. It is your servant. It loves to serve. So, yeah, imagination, I mean visualization is so fun to me, just to give it the sensations of reality, and then to see that actually happen, right? So you see it in your mind, and then to actually step into it in this 3D realm where everyone else can see it, right? When, again, go back to that scripture, what you pray to me in secret, I will reveal in public. So you're going in secret in your imagination, and then you're allowing this to come out where everybody can see. And to know that you saw it so vividly in your imagination, it's going to give you a confidence like no other. And it's just fun, period. It's fun. Affirmations, of course. Affirmations are fun if you don't take it so serious. But I have a whole video about how I feel about robotic affirmations. And then also when it comes to visualization, don't do it right before you fall asleep, because I find that a lot of times people will fall asleep before they can really give the visualization all the sensations of reality. So create a state akin to sleep while you're still awake, so that you can consciously see it and then impress your subconscious mind without falling asleep and then having your thoughts run rampant. Okay? And then I'll remember when. That's another technique that I love. I remember when it's like, oh, I remember when I couldn't afford to sign up for this yoga studio. I don't know why I keep going back to yoga, but I remember when I couldn't afford this. I remember when I didn't feel confident enough to wear this dress. I remember when my artwork wasn't selling. I remember when my business wasn't doing well. That's just another technique, because if you remember when, that must mean that you're past it. So you just keep saying, I remember when, because that used to be the case, but it's not the case anymore. I remember when, and now I'm grateful that's not the case anymore. And another one is, isn't it wonderful? When you falling off asleep, you could just keep saying, isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? And your subconscious will continue to bring you evidence of how it's wonderful. Okay, so those are techniques, because I know y'all love techniques. I love techniques. But remember, techniques are about expressing, not bringing, because you are already in the state. You already have access to what you desire. The techniques are to convince you, to persuade you that this is the truth and that this is the case. Comment down below, this works, because it works. And when you claim it works, it will work. And this is fun. Comment down below, this is I'm going to play. I'm going to become like a kid again, because when you do that, reality will shift in your favor. And part 3 is about detachment. And again, Detachment is the quickest way to get your desire, because when you don't need reality to shift, it will shift. When you need reality to shift, it's because you're operating from lack or operating from scarcity. And you're like, I need it because I don't feel like I have it. And reality is going to be like, yep, let me reflect back to you how you don't feel like you have it, because everything is just a reflection. It's all a, when you really see that it's all a reflection, you will shift. You will not allow yourself to continue to be unconscious anymore, because you know that if I want to create my reality, if I want to manifest my desires, everything is a reflection. I need to get serious, and I need to become accountable with what I see and how I'm responding and how I'm reacting. So you are going to work really hard to detach, to not need reality to look a certain way in order to feel a certain way, in order to feel natural, to feel at peace. Because I wouldn't even say to feel like excited, joyful, because you don't always feel that way in your reality now. You want to give it the tones of neutral. Like you want it to feel very neutral, very natural. And that's when everything will shift for you. And I know I keep saying that's when everything will shift, because it seems like there's so many things, but it all stems from this not taking life so serious. When you don't take life so serious, you're not attached to how reality is going to bring you your desire. You don't need it to look a certain way. You don't need it to be this specific person. You don't need it to be this specific job, this specific outcome. You are open to all the ways that it will work out. But when you are like that, it will ironically turn out in your favor, because you're not attached to it. And that's only going to come, not only, but I would say the best way to go through it is through play. It's through having fun. It's through having a light heart. It's through being like a child again and entering the kingdom of heaven. Okay? So I think that's all I got. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram. I know I sign up for the 75 hard free guide down below. I slipped off, but I'm about to restart again Monday. So this video will be posted Sunday, and then Monday we'll get to it. Uh-oh, the baby's crying. So that's my signal to go. One-on-one coaching is available. The self-inquiry guide, $7 is down below. And then group coaching, where we'll be doing what we did in the workshop on a group setting once a week. That's coming October 1st. So that's all I got. I love you guys. Sign up for the waitlist down below and have fun. Play. Don't take this stuff too seriously. And the reality will bring your desires. Y'all hear the baby? It's time for me to go. Love you. Bye.